Yeah, oh Richard, I'm recording now.
Okay. Um, Good evening once more. Um, Panelists, my name is Richard Dambo. It's a pleasure to have you on this conversation. Looking at the Kanu Poetry Festival, International Festival, and then the focus of the theme this year, poetry in time of crisis. It's my pleasure to host you all panelists on this conversation, and without much ado, I want us to dive into this discussion further. I have Mohammed Shamsuddin Ibrahim, Farid Ibrahim, Abdul Halim Isiak Ringim. It's a pleasure to have you all on this call. So I will just go straight to the questions I have lined up here, and then hopefully I'm sure we'll have a fruitful conversation here. So the topic, as we have been informed, is social media, its use and misuse among young people. And then I will want to go to straight to the first question I have here, which is to Farid Ibrahim. I don't know. I kept wondering while looking at the topic here. I kept wondering if social media has brought us closer together or has pushed us further apart as a society. I don't know how you might want to respond to that. Has social media brought us closer together as a people, or it has pushed us apart? I don't know.
Thank you
So
very much, Richard. My name is Farid Ibrahim, and as you know, I lead a group of young people at Smart Aid Initiative, where majorly our work are centered around policy advocacy, ensuring access to inclusive quality education and opportunities for young people. But for me, I'll come from that standing point that social media has helped us in solving a whole lot of major problems than even some of the bringing up than some of the challenges we face today, because most of the things our work centers around bringing up using social media as a form of advocacy and also as a form of using it to bring change in our communities. And for instance, I serve as the one campaign champion under the one campaign. Yeah, and what we do is we use social media majorly as a form of advocacy, and we've used it in solving problem around declaring state of emergency in the educational sector in Zamfara State, which is aligned as well with what we do at Smart Aid Initiative, and also around the health sector, where we use it in advocating for basic healthcare provision fund getting to the grassroots. And we've seen a whole lot of impacts in that. But we are definitely not going to dispute the fact that it's still causing a whole lot of challenges, dividing us along ethnic, religious, and conflict related conflict related issues. Yeah, but for me, I'm still on the standing point that it has actually solved more problems. It has helped us in young people in voicing out and also creating a sustainable development for us. Thank you.
thank you so much for it. I love the fact that you also introduce what you do at Smart Initiative. Thank you very much. I'll go to the next question, and then while please I ask this first question, we might just want to chip in an introductory aspect of what we do to give the viewers more of a perspective for our person. So I'll go to the next person. I want to ask a question, which is Ringim, Abdul Halim Ringim. And I want to ask this question. I've been thinking too around how social media has empowered marginalized voice. I know you do a lot of work around policy. Are there any special policies that you think are geared towards making people empowering more voices for marginalized communities through the social media platforms?
Well, thank you very much, Richard. By way of introduction, my name is Abdul Halim Ishaq Ringim. I happen to be a public policy and economic enthusiast, currently serving as the Special Assistant to the Governor of Kaduna State on economic matters. Like you have mentioned, I am a practitioner of public policy. And as far as your question is concerned, I think social media has been impactful in bringing out the voices of marginalized communities. I think there are a lot of testimonials to this effect. But in these kinds of conversations, I usually want to, respond with personal stories. So I could remember, I think last year, was it last year or 2 years ago? There was a conversation around the students' loan. If you could remember, the government introduced the Students' Loan Act to the National Assembly, particularly the House of Representatives. It was eventually passed, but then there were a lot of clamor regarding some aspects and some sections of that particular act. The concern was that it was going to marginalize a lot of the people that constituted the supposed target audience. We looked at a number of issues and a number of factors that would have impeded effective and efficient utilization of that particular student loans by the target audience, which are indigent students. And I particularly decided to, as always, utilize the instrumentality of social media, for advocacy, advocacy towards looking at this particular student loan and seeing how to amend that particular act. I wrote an article, and as usual, the first point of publicization of my article is social media, particularly Facebook, and I posted it there. It garnered a lot of attention. Um, Particularly one that is particularly very important is the attention of one of the members of parliament who happened to be interested in the many concerns that I have raised. And as a result, we teamed up with him, I and a number of his team members, and we decided to draft an amendment bill for the Students' Loan Act, amending a number of sections that constituted that legislation. And Alhamdulillah, it was presented at the floor of the House of Representatives and it was passed. And those factors were considered accordingly. So you could see that this is one clear example where a policy or a law would have marginalized a lot of the people that were supposed to constitute the target audience. But with the power of social media, we were able to, work around amending some of these issues. So yes, this is one story out of many, many, many other stories. Was very impactful in bridging the gap for marginalized communities.
Thank you very much, Ringim. Thank you very much. That was very powerful. I love the part of the story and how personal it was to you and your own. So we can now say this is an example now, and we can see it in your own person and your own story. I'll go straight to the next question, which is I'm going to be asking Ibrahim Mohammed. Ibrahim Mohammed, can you hear me, please?
Loud and clear.
Oh, thank you very much, Ibrahim. I want to ask, basically, can the social media space be like a safe space? Can it ever be a safe space? I'm sure it's not a safe space at the moment with the form of trolling and bullying that we have. Can the social media be a safe space? What can we as young people do to make it a safe space for healthy debates?
Well, I am Ibrahim Muhammad Shamsuddin, and I'm a climate resilience consultant and professional. When we talk about social media as a safe space, well, I can be able to present two opinions. The first is there are a lot of young people that do not segregate or prioritize some of the information they get fed with on social media. And that usually heightens the rate of issues around trolling, conflict of interest, cyberbullying, and the likes, because you tend to put your own sense in any conversation taking place on social media. Whereas I feel as young people, there are key conversations that are of no interest to us, or we have no clear expertise in those areas. There is no need to make comments or make contributions if we are actually aware of the fact that we are not grounded in that area. And secondly, there are a lot of young people that actually try as much as possible to ensure that they segregate the type of information they consume in social media. And thank God with the invention of AI, it also helps in mainstreaming the type of information you see on your social media timelines. It uses some algorithms that keep track of the kind of information you view, you read, and the likes, and it always present such type of information on your timeline. So it depends on how we use social media. To some of us, it is a safe space, and to some of us, it isn't. So I would attach that to the fact that our modus operandi with social media determines whether it is a safe space for us or not. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ibrahim. Thank you so much. That was very enlightening. I while you were talking, I thought about something and I felt I should go back to Ringim and ask this question again. Ringim, can you hear me?
Yes, I can clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. So, being someone who work with the government and being close to the coffers of power, I don't know. There has been this debate about censorship of the social media space by government. I want to know what's your opinion on that.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a tricky one, but not tricky for me because I've never believed in social media censorship as you might want to define it. I consider social media as a government person as a tool that could serve as a feedback mechanism to the government. The government is always at the service of the people. It's supposed to be at the service of the people. And looking at social media, I think it's one platform. Let's look at the data, for example. We have about 36 million social media users in Nigeria, constituting about 16% of the entire population. That means it is a very good platform to be able to, for government to get a lot of feedbacks on the programs and the policies that are implementing in service of the people. What is government without people, and what is government, or what are government policies and programs without feedback from the people? They are the target audience. They should have the opportunity of being able to talk about these policies, recommend changes if there are any, and all that. So I do not believe in social media censorship. It all depends on how we look at it, and this is not to say that there are certain issues that are also worthy of consideration, especially when it comes to social media users, considering public officials as people that they could easily defame, their characters and all that. That becomes personal. So when it becomes personal, I am an advocate of responsible utilization or use of social media by both citizens and the government. Of course, constructive criticism should always be accommodated, but I think there is a thin line between, especially for young people of today who perhaps may not be enlightened, that there's a thin line between constructive criticisms and advocacy, and also defamation. So the moment it steps into the boundaries of defamation of characters, of assassination of characters, and all that, then obviously that is why we have regulations and laws like the Cybersecurity Act. So yes, censorship, I do not subscribe to that. I am a strong believer in freedom of expression, and a strong, I utilize my freedom of expression very well, especially before joining government. I used to express myself, very clearly, but I understood the line between, constructive criticisms and defamation. And with that knowledge, I have tried as much as possible to maintain myself on the line of constructive criticisms and never, utilize social media for defamation or, all those negative ways we could use social media. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Al Halim. Thank you very much. That was very very constructive and insightful. Yeah, I think I've followed your work, and then I've seen firsthand how you were always writing open letters to the government. I think before you became part of the government, you were always using social media as a platform to reach out to the government on critical important state issues, or as it may concern to the federal government as well. um, Thank you for that. So I will go next to Farid Ibrahim. I will ask you the next question, Farid Ibrahim, if you are with us. I will ask the next
Yeah,
question here.
yeah, I'm with you.
My radar, yeah. So I know at Smart Initiative and other civil society work you do, you work with a lot of young people, and you do a lot of things around digital space itself. There's this school of thought that keeps saying that online youth activism is waning down. Looking at the fact that we have, let me use, because I'm also a young person, we have become more of content creators than actually the youth activism thing online, that like it used to be before the monetization of social media platforms, Facebook, to be precise. What do you think around that?
Yeah, I think I'll even come from a broader perspective where we see the civic space is kind of shrinking. But though online activism is being influenced with a little bit tokenism we see, um, young people receive Twitter through maybe by influence of either a politician or even with the little tokens the social media platform now give us. But you see, this is why as young people who are actually in the development space are noticing most of these things, we need to start advocating for the ethical usage of social media and as well technology. Young people have whole lot of opportunities on social media and using technology where we can actually do a whole lot of things, but we are not making use of them because we are influenced by either what we get on social media and then what politicians use today as data boys. We call them the data boys just to just go paint false narrative or different narratives in promoting most of their own interests. So that is actually kind of taking the attentions of young people from a different view of calling for good governance accountability to using it to kind of shed blames between the politicians. That's number one. Not even using it the ethical way, tarnishing images and defamation of character and other stuff. And earlier this year, you joined part of the Blue Tech project as what we want to do, funded by Luminate, ensuring, yeah, let's start advocating for the ethical usage of the social media, what young people can actually do the right way using the social media. We just launched the Equal Test project, Tech Ethics and Solution in Kaduna last week, where now we are now training young people on how they can use technology effectively, how they can even integrate AI into their work life to earn money even remotely, and also the use of social media the right way. This is part of our advocacy, and it's been supported by Illuminate and the Hadis Foundation, and we are advancing because we feel now we need to even start catching them young, and we are even training teachers and educators across Kaduna State, where, yeah, we feel these are the best people to educate students, that's our younger ones that are coming up, on how to use social media ethically, how they can go into this tech space, do good things with it, not the unethical way of using it. So for me, we still have a long way to go. We have many more work to be done because it's actually still one of our major problems where we see young people divided online using social media along different views, and we even focus on unnecessary things. So we need to start changing that narrative, because when you travel out of the country, I've been to countries where I see young people do amazing things, and then it keeps bringing back that question of what then are we doing as young people here in Nigeria? How are we using social media? How are we using this technological innovation to solve problem, call decision makers accountable, and also for sustainable development? So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for it. Thank you. It's good to hear what you guys are doing at a Smart Initiative, and well done. I'll ask Shamsuddin Ibrahim Mohammed this question now. And I remember when you were talking about the first answering the first question, you spoke about AI, the intersection of AI and social media. and it brought me to this to wonder, there is social media and AI now, AI in particular now. Are people not using AI now to like? There's a lot of, for instance, there's a lot of evidence to say that people use AI now to doctor videos and pictures that are not really true, thereby spreading misinformation. Don't you think that's another issue with the misuse of social media, especially by young people, and how can we address that, Mr. Shamsuddin?
Yeah, well, thank you for the question. And I think this now intersects with the response Abdul Halim shared when he talks about social media censorship and ethical use of social media. And I feel there is urgent need for an amplified effort towards ensuring the ethical use of social media because in as much as we use social media for good, there are some people that actually are there and busy trying to sell the wrong narratives. And it's so unfortunate that the general public consumes more of false narratives than the real narratives that are aimed at making impact either to the society or to the entire nation at large. So when we talk about AI, I feel I don't think social media is an AI now, though I'm not an expert in digital technology, but I feel there are some AI algorithms that are mainstreamed into social media that try to study the kind of content you usually go through. For example, let's talk about Facebook Reels. When the algorithm realize you keep watching a particular nature of content, immediately when you open your reels, you only be seeing such type of content. So that is what I am trying to communicate initially. And of course, I feel when we get back to the ethical use of AI, we have to ensure that young people don't sell false information, or people on social media generally don't sell false information to the public, and which is a call to ensure people are empowered to understand misinformation and false narratives on social media. Because of course there are people out there that immediately when they see a particular narrative on social media, they know that particular narrative is AI fabricated. So I feel we have to do this two-way. One is to ensure ethical use of social media, and two is to create adequate awareness to the general public on how to identify misinformation and false narrative on social media. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shamsuddin. I would like to move on to the next question as well, and then Abdul Halim, are you with us? Are you here? So, my question: can you hear me, Abdul Halim?
He isn't here anymore.
Okay, I noticed someone was missing. I kept wondering. Okay, so let me ask Farid this question now. So, from your experience working with young people, especially in digital space, how do you think young people can respond when social media becomes a space for hate, division, and misinformation? How do you think young people can respond? Looking at the fact that you're training a lot of young people on how to effectively navigate the digital space, how do you expect, what is expected from these young people to respond, especially when they go on social media and they find there's a lot of hate, misinformation, and divisive narratives as well?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is actually a very, very important question, Richard, because I think we've been thinking ahead of time because we've already been seeing the hatred. We've been seeing a whole lot of challenges social media has been causing between young people because we are currently in a very, very critical stage in our country right now where every young person attention should be on governance, should be on holding governance accountable, should be on building the next generation of decision makers that will actually make our country the best. But at the same time of at this critical junction as well, we are faced with these issues of hatred, social media division, leading to division between young people. But for us collectively as young people, we need to understand that it is our responsibility to come together to fight this menace. For me, I've seen this as actually a challenge since for originally, where we need to advocate for the ethical usage of social media, because majorly what I do is I use my social media to call for accountability, to share opportunities, and to talk more about how young people can actually come together collectively to hold governance accountable and for sustainable development. So the first thing is every young person knowing, yes, it is our responsibility to call for the ethical usage of social media, and also we using the social media as a tool for change. That is the number two thing. And also the third aspect of it is ensuring, yes, there's been a whole lot of advocacy about censorship. I'm very happy you made mention of censorship. For me, in as much as we are still in democratic setting, there's no way social media can be censored. Young people voices can actually not be influenced using social media censorship, because as you know, people like Elon Musk and other people that are actually creating this social media innovation and tech are focused on ensuring freedom and the rights of people are actually being promoted and supported in such a way that it will be enhanced. So for us, we need to see it as a tool for calling for good governance, as a tool where we will use it to create more opportunities for young people, and as a tool where we can call for policies that can help influence most of the challenges people in underserved communities are facing, so that we can have a country where it is not only equitable, it is also inclusive for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for it for that. I love the word inclusion too. Yeah. So because when we talk about young people, we are also looking at inclusion, and that those inclusion should also supersede just young people, or should be more than all encompassing rather than just young people. We are talking about persons living with disability, and also girls and women as well. So it's very important. Inclusion is very important too. I will go to the next question here on my radar. I have um, the question I'm asking about how young people can use social media to engage in civic issues like elections and policies. For instance, there's a policy on petroleum tax at the moment, and there's an ongoing debate heated around it on the social media space. My question is to Shamsuddin. I don't know, how do you think young people can leverage on social media to engage in civic issues, like, for instance, elections and other policy issues in general?
Yeah, well, for me, I think social media is one of the most effective tools we have in influencing policies or issues around elections, just like you mentioned. And I am going to cite a practical example. I was opportune to be at COP26 in Glasgow, where then late President Muhammadu Buhari announced that we now have the National Climate Change Act, that it has been ascended into law. And as young people that are there, we are happy because we've been able to go through some of the information in the act, and of course we are aware of the hurdles that civil society actors faced before that policy came to life. And as at June 2022, we get to realize nothing has been done. And as young people, we are part of a network of civil society actors across Nigeria, with about a membership of 380 civil society actors. And from the youth, we decided to start a social media campaign, and we tagged that Know Your Climate Change Act campaign. where we use graphic design to serialize every bit of content in that policy or that act. And every day, young people across the country post that one graphic at a time, asking the government what has changed. That is from um, um, the announcement of the policy that it is now enacted or it is a law in the country. Nothing has happened after about 7 months. And we kept the momentum until we serialized every bit of information in that particular act. And while we are towards the end of the campaign, I received a notification from the then Minister of Environment that President Muhammadu Buhari is going to inaugurate the council members, which is going to happen in Abuja. In fact, I received an invitation to attend, but unfortunately, I think then I was away in Kilifi, Kenya for another engagement and I couldn't make it. So this is a practical example that social media is actually a tool that we can leverage on to make impact. And that particular incident has resulted to a lot of positive impacts both for me and some of the young people that are part of the campaign. Because in that same year, during the African Climate Change and Environmental Reporting Awards, at the sidelines of the Commonwealth Head of Governments Forum in Rwanda, I was recognized as one of the most impactful young digital activists in Africa as a result of that particular campaign. So that implies that effort we put together as unity doesn't just ensure the initial implementation of that policy in our country, but it is also recognized Africa-wise. So just like Abdul Halim Farid highlighted clearly, ethical use of social media or use of social media for good has abundance of multiple or ripple positive effects. And it is actually a tool that we can leverage on to ensure we engage the government, especially when we constructively criticize some of their initiatives or we ask the right questions about what is happening in the whole governance system. And that will always yield a positive result, unless if we use it to defame or devalue some of and the public or public officials we have. And it is always important to put at the back of our mind is one thing that makes some of them feel social media censorship is important to them, which we know is not even realistic, is that we always try to sell out there the negatives about what they are doing. And I feel, in as much as we know they can do a lot of things that might go wrong, there are a lot of things that they are doing that are right. So if we actually want to constructively criticize them on social media, we should ensure that when they do things that are good and for the benefit of the general public, we acknowledge that, we clap our hands for them, so that when they do anything wrong, they won't feel threatened. They understand that, oh, this is a call for reflection. And that is very, very important and something that we should ensure we do while using social media. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shamdin. Thank you so much. So, looking at the time, I want us to be wrapping up at the moment. I don't know if Abdulamin Halim is back.
Yes, I am. I'm here.
All right, all right. Thank you. Sorry we lost you. I had this question I was asked about asking, and let me ask now. So it's about how I wanted you to share how social media can be used for good, especially looking at how your personal experience with involving the government, particularly, and also following up with the government to make sure that you keep them on their toes. Like, how can young people follow up with the government and engage with them using social media?
Well, Mr. Richard, social media means a different thing to different people. All of us have ways we use social media. I think it's big enough for everybody to find a niche. But for young people, I would want to advise that if young people want to, use social media positively, let's look at it generally before even, talking about it from the context of engaging, the government. There's this quote by George Soros that I would like to quote here. He said, um, while oil and mining companies exploit the physical environment, social media companies exploit the social environment. They exploit me and you. We all talked about algorithms. We know how the social media networks and companies gather data that has to do with our behaviors, has to do with our consumer preferences, and at the end of the day, use that data to sell ads and different things to us. So you could see how social media can be exploitative to its users. But then it mustn't be unilateral all the time. So while social media networks are exploiting you, whether you like it or not, you also have to find a way to exploit social media back, to counter exploit social media. For me, how I do that, and it plugs into my definition or consumption of social media. For me, social media is simply a tool for the projection of my personal brand. And my personal brand is tied, like I said, to public policy advocacy and all that. So all you need to do is to establish what your personal brand is and try and use social media to project that personal brand. So specifically, if we are to talk about, if this personal brand is, tied around engaging government, then it's very important for us to be knowledgeable and understand the rudiments of ethical use of social media, getting our facts and data right, getting our evidences right, putting at the back of our mind that we're out for constructive criticisms for the betterment of government policies, programs, and projects. The moment we have that in mind, I think we are good to go. Like I said, social media, you would find there are 36 million social media users. So it is a veritable platform for anybody to use, especially people who want to engage government. And if you look at it, government today are active users of social media as well. Go to social media and you'd realize that almost all government MDAs, all government parastatals have, presence in social media. So it is a very veritable platform that young people can utilize and leverage to, advocate for certain things and, engage government, keep government officials accountable, advocate for transparency and all that. But like I said earlier, we need to be able to distinguish, between constructive criticisms and engaging government through social media for positive, in pursuit of positive outcomes, and also, the unethical, negative use of social media in cyberbullying and other offenses that have been captured under the Cybercrime Act. So I think fellow young people most of us would benefit a lot from digital literacy, especially as it has to do with social media. And also, especially with the advent of AI, with the advent of fake news and misinformation and all that, I think our young people would benefit a lot, from digital literacy, especially that which has to do with social media. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alhadim. I spot on. I like the fact that when you said you spoke about how even the government itself is on social media, parastatals, MDAs, and all that. Few they are all on social media, so it's left for the young people to see them and also constructively engage with them. So we will be closing down in a few minutes. We will be shutting down the conversation. But before then, I wonder, Farid, do you have any parting words for young people as it pertains the use of social media?
Yeah, I think I'll just start with this one of my favorite words that I always share with people that I say um, when you are invisible in two ways, which is when you're invisible in voicing out using social media and as well using data, young people are invisible in decision making. So for us, we as young people, we need to actually think from that aspect of using social media to develop our personal and professional development and as well see it as a tool to call for change in decision making. A whole lot of people now use social media to make money to do other stuffs, but most especially young people here in Nigeria, we don't really use it for that positive way, positive change of okay. Yeah, if I'm not using social media to promote myself, at least use social media to do other stuffs in terms of calling for other young people, sharing opportunities, calling for good governance, influencing decision making, where you say, okay, yeah, you share your view around policies and also advocacy as little as using your phone to snap a picture of a bad road in your community alone could actually bring the solution to that problem you shared. Maybe calling on the government attention to fix the road. We've done that a couple of times. Salim has done that a couple of times. Even me, I've used it in time when we were calling for the state of emergency in the educational sector, where I wrote an open letter to the for state government, and we did a whole lot of awareness using social media. So young people need to actually be active in the use of social media the ethical way, where we need to be visible in terms of using it to call for good policies, good governance, and also create more opportunities for ourselves. So I think these are my parting ways, and thank you very much, Richard, for having me. And it was actually an amazing time with all of other panelists, learning from them. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for it. Thank you so much. It's really an amazing time as well. Ibrahim Mohammed Shamsuddin, your parting words for.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. And for me, I would say to all the young people out there that if and only if you must use social media, you should use it in two or three ways. One, ensure that you use it as an avenue for your own personal branding, selling yourself and what you do. Two, ensure that if you are using it, use it for social good. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very short but concise and concise. Use it for social good. Ringing Abdulhamid.
It is just to reiterate. I mean, the call for the ethical use of social media by young people cannot be overemphasized. So, as a parting word, I would further encourage young people to leverage social media for the good, social good, personal good, environmental good. There are a lot of things you could do with social media. It depends on what you want to do with it. But whatever you want to do with it, make sure that it is for the good and the benefit of yourself and your community and the country at large. Project yourself, seek opportunities for self advancement and self improvement. Social media has liberalized a lot of opportunities, has liberalized a lot of information, and has basically, brought down a lot of constraints, particularly geographic constraints. So there are a lot of people you would meet on social media that ordinarily, the geographic constraint wouldn't allow you to. And access to these people can be very impactful in your life. Personally, I have gained a lot from the relationship I've cultivated from social media. Most of the people I've met on social media are now very close friends. Some of them are mentors, and because of those relationships, only I can, mention the number of opportunities I've gotten from social media and the number of achievements I have gotten courtesy of social media. So basically, we should prioritize the ethical use of social media for whatever we want to use social media for. Thank you very much. It was really a pleasure being on this panel and also hearing and learning from the perspectives of my fellow panelists.
So much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for it. Thank you, Abdul Alim. Thank you, Ibrahim Shamsuddin, Thank you so much. I really learned too as a moderator. It's really been an honor to moderate this session. I learned from your perspective as well. Thank you, and looking forward to further engagement with you all. Thank you all.
Thank you guys for joining us. This was a very insightful session. We learned a lot, and thank you for joining us at Kano International Poetry Festival. This was a lovely conversation, and I will be so I'll be ending the recording now. I'll need us to stay a little bit, like 5 minutes, to sync our recordings. Once it's done, I'll just let you go. So you could just go on, you could just minimize and do whatever you're doing, but I just needed to recording to sync on. Again, thank you very much for joining us.